Weather time of Ag Week now. We've got starting off with drought monitor, and as you can see, no real large areas of organized super dry conditions across the United States, which is relatively typical in wintertime. The exception to that is along the western part of the world where, although there has been some rain in California, things are still well below average in terms of reservoir levels. There's been a lot of pickup in the north, not much at all in the south so far. Jet stream this week, you notice it's been quite mild here in the northern plains and much of the Midwest the last few days. The polar jet stream has gone well up north. That will change slightly this week, but nothing too dramatic settling in. We'll lose the mildest of our air as the jet begins to come southward through the Great Lakes, but this is not going to be an Arctic push. The next couple of days look just cool to mild, mostly above average in the northern plains. There will be a little bit of cool down through the eastern and central United States, the eastern part of the Midwest. Toward the end of the week, combination of the polar jet and the southern jet building up will bring up another surge of hot weather in the southwest, but this time, because of a big trough in the east, it is not expected to spread eastward. So instead, it will just start fading away as we move toward the weekend. Overall, temperatures this week across most of the northern plains look fairly mild, a little chillier over the Midwest, but nothing really too dramatic setting up at all. And this pattern does not favor a lot of precipitation in any of the major ag regions of the country. This week, it does look like it's going to be quite wet out across the Pacific Northwest, and one difference, it looks like the rains will be getting down into the Los Angeles basin. It's not clear how heavy they'll be, but there will be some rainfall, at least down into some parts of Southern California. Fairly dry weather through the southern plains and some heat, but nothing too extreme. The south looks rainy. Last week I told you this weather system would be a little further north. Looks like it's going to stay the heaviest mostly in the southern states. There will be snows over the northeast and in the Great Lakes, but most of this not as extreme as it's been of late. Little or no precipitation in the northern plains and almost none down in the area around southeast South Dakota and Iowa. Looks pretty dry in the plain states. The second week, again, looking rainy, of course, along the Pacific Northwest coast, fairly dry in the west. It looks like Texas will start getting some substantial rains. Now, second week, we're talking into early March. Some of this could be thunderstorm and tornado activity. Meanwhile, in the northern plains, it looks like things will remain generally fairly dry. The other part of the country that bears watching this time of year, scattered light rains throughout southern Brazil. But when we get down into Argentina, some heavier rainfall in that region of the country. So the overall outlook then, most of the stormy weather in the United States will stay south of the northern plains region. Our weather will be generally mild for the rest of February and early March, and it looks like no big rain or snowstorms anywhere across the northern plains.